Hickey is co-founder of M-Space with her sister Barbara Nolan. M-Space is an independent, co-working, flexible office space operator based in Malahide, Dublin. She chats with Miriam O'Gara on Business Block. Business Block is powered on Mondays by the Women's Inspire Network. Well, hello everyone, and you are very welcome once again to Business Block with myself, Miriam O'Gara. Monday's show is powered by the Women's Inspire Network, which was founded by Samantha Kelly. And today I have another wonderful WIN member. Her name is Ann Hickey, and she runs M-Space in Malahide. Caroline, you're very welcome. Caroline.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
No worries at all. You are looking fantastic with that wonderful view behind. Just tell us exactly where the company is at the moment.
So we are based in Malahide Village in North County Dublin.
Lovely. Very close to the airport.
Yes, and we are looking out in a beautiful sea, and we've lovely estuary and marina just behind us here, and it's pretty nice.
It's lovely. So it's Marine Court. It's the top floor of Marine
Top
Court.
floor of Marine Court Centre, yeah. So there's all panoramic windows around the top floor. So there's a lovely balcony, and every person that comes out to visit us, we take a photograph on the balcony. It's becoming our famous shot now at this stage. And yes, there's a restaurant underneath us. Yeah.
That in itself must be so relaxing and invigorating for a solo entrepreneur or a freelancer or someone who decides to take their office space with you, to just be able to look out over the boats and fantastic.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for the head. It's calming. It's very airy in there as well. So there's loads of windows, and with the doors open and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, you look out, and even on a terrible day, it's lovely. Even if it's lashing, it's still good to look out and you can see water.
Is it an area that you're from yourself?
Yeah. Well, I grew up in a town beside us. I left that town when I was 8, and I've been in Malahide now since I was 8. I married a guy from Malahide. My kids go to my old school in Malahide.
Oh,
so, yeah. Can't get me out of here.
And it is, there's so much history going on. You've got the festival there, don't you? Is it James Joyce Tower?
I don't think so, no.
You have, there's a Joycean festival there, and you have, I know from my family were in the aviation for years. You've loads and loads of airport people living there.
Yes.
Very busy, very, very busy town.
It is, and it's growing. This house has been built like all the time now. Like, I don't know where they're finding fields to build new houses. And we've Malahide Castle, which is fabulous as well, and they've pumped a lot of money into that now. And so we're spoiled for choice. And
lots of hotels in the area too. So now your business is looking at co-working and office space operations. So you're a provider with your sister, Barbara Nolan.
Yep.
Where did the idea of actually coming up with an office space project as a business, where did that originate? Yeah,
so our background is we were in a family commercial property business for 18 years with myself, Barbara, and my dad. And my dad retired, and we had a unit that was the unit that we're in at the moment, was rented out to British Airways, I think 15 or 16 years or whatever. And then when they were brought over, they moved to East Point in Clontarf. Yes. And we found it really, really difficult to rent this particular unit, even though it's beautiful. It's got such beautiful views, but it's too small for some people and too big for small people, if you know what I mean. Yes. So then in early 2019, Barbara came up with the idea that, the co-working spaces in towns were becoming a bit bigger. There's plenty of them in Dublin City and Galway and Cork and all this, but there was nothing really in towns. So we talked to somebody, and somebody came in and did a design for us of how many we could fit in. And we didn't overfill it. Now, we could have put more desks in, but we didn't, because we kind of wanted it to be nice and airy. And thank God, actually, because what happened with COVID and everything. So we have a shared meeting room where our members can use the meeting room. We have one office that's actually rented to a company, and the rest is open plan. So we're it's quite small in what we have, but we have dedicated people, and then people that come in for say 2 or 3 days a week. We've got another lady that comes in with 2 or 3 of our staff once a week, every week, and they come in as a team. So it's all that kind of stuff. So because we've come from a background of dealing with tenants, normal tenants having a normal lease, we knew exactly what to do and how to be flexible. And so when anybody brings us up now, we basically say, you know, we're not stuck on you having to do 6 months, 12 months, whatever that it is. And we just need to see what you need and let's work from there. And that's what we do.
Absolutely. I've just brought up your
Yeah.
website here on the
Yeah.
screen, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, this is an example here of what you can offer.
Yeah.
I mean, really, really, really lovely spaces there, and the views again.
That is the view, yeah.
Yeah, it's a marvelous view. Isn't that just gorgeous?
Yeah.
And again, you have, I see you've got your coffee area as well.
Yeah.
You provide refreshments for freelancers as well.
We do now, obviously during COVID now, because we're not really fully back, we're only kind of running at 50% now. We haven't done a whole lot of that now, but we initially were having treats every Friday, and our members are kind of slagging us, telling them, asking us if we're making them fat because we're bringing them all like gorgeous croissants on a Friday and stuff. So but our plan was that we were going to do events in the space, maybe in the morning before we opened, or maybe like on a Thursday or Friday evening, to try and get people to meet and collaborate. But then COVID kicked in and we haven't been able to do any of that. So that's been on the back burner for a while. So that would be our plan, is to try and build a community. And so during COVID, instead of physically meeting people, we then branched out and really tried to promote ourselves virtually and got involved in loads of networks and all that type of stuff. We'd never done that before in our previous life. So that's really what we've done. So yeah, I mean, it's an evolving space, you know. Absolutely. And people, they do like using it. People definitely don't want it full time. That's a huge change. So I think it'll be a mixture of different things, you know, between 1 or 2 days, or come in for a week, or, you know. So look, we're flexible on everything that we do, and we try to work with everybody. So that's what we do.
Absolutely. And what about from the point of view of basically operations and staffing? Did you have to lose staff temporarily or permanently?
So it's really been me and Barbara running it ourselves the whole time. So now when COVID kicked in, we lost everybody overnight, apart from one person.
Yes.
And he begged us, could he use the desk during COVID? And it was literally just him in there on his own, but everybody else went home like everyone else did, and that was fine. And then through each different lockdown, each time we reopened, our business model changed ever so slightly, in that the flexibility was becoming bigger and bigger. Now, we are very flexible thinking people anyway, so it wasn't a problem for us. And an awful lot of people kind of said to us, God, I can't believe you come in for a day, you come in for a week, or you come in for 3 days. You know, loads of places you've got to sign up for 6 months. And I was like, no, there's no more 6 months like type of thing. I mean, it is nice to have some people that are there all the time, but definitely the flexibility. You have to have some kind of.
And how different is running this kind of business from, let's say, an insurance point of view?
So the insurance point of view, so when we set this up, we fitted it out as an office, and we have broadband. So we have nothing to do with servers. So if they come in, if anybody comes in, they click into they put a LAN cable into their computer and they connect it directly to the router. But everything that they walk in with is their responsibility. Okay. And when they sign it, it is the insurance there. So the insurance for us is really public liability and the contents that we put in. And then the landlord has fire and building insurance or whatever. And it's very, very clear. I mean, they've got lockable storage for them to put their stuff, but I mean, loads of them leave like huge screens on the table, and yes, they all have their own insurance.
They all have their own insurance. That's what I was.
Yes, for that equipment. Yes.
So they would.
And other than that, there's nothing really in there apart from the desks, the chair, the Wi-Fi, the tea and coffee, that kind of thing. You know, there's nothing else that could possibly be robbed, I suppose. So, so when people come in, you know, we just say to them, look, if you're in for the day, lock it in the storage underneath you, and if you're going to lunch or whatever, that kind of thing. But fingers crossed.
Now,
it's all been
yes.
good so far.
Oh, please, God, fingers crossed it all works. Now, I just want to have a look here at your membership rates. They're really very, very good, really, aren't they? I mean, but just click into memberships here for a moment. So you have for your freelancer, it's really very affordable.
Yeah, and what we do as well is we offer bundles now. So we're going to promote it now, coming now at the end of June again, especially for, say, mums or dads with the kids all been off on school holidays now, that we're going to get people, you know, to maybe share a desk or whatever. So the husband or the wife share the desk, or the mother comes in for every morning, or there's loads of options of different things to do.
So you're for your ideal for freelancers, you've got a €30 per day. There's a lot inclusive in that there. You can go through, people can go onto the Why Join page, go down and click subscriptions. So that's suitable for your freelancers. €400 ideal for solo entrepreneurs and SMEs. Private office, €1,500 ideal for teams.
Yeah, 4 people fit in there. Yeah.
Very well established on that one. And virtual office address.
Yeah,
that's an interesting one. Can you tell me a little more about that?
Yeah, so that came from a friend of mine that lives in Perth that uses an awful lot of these co-working hubs in Perth. And she goes in once, I think it's once or twice a month, and she goes in and she does a daily rate or whatever with her hub. And she meets 5 or 6 of her, I suppose, her solopreneur colleagues, and they have lunch together, and then they work there all day. And she said to me, you know, it's getting really big over there to have a virtual address, because most people working on their own are working out of their house, even before COVID. You know, they don't have an office or whatever, but they don't want their business address or any post to come to their home. So we basically take in the post of the clients that we have, and we make an agreement with them that either we open the post and we scan it and we email it to them, or they come and they meet us and they take the post off us, or we post the post to them, if you know what I mean. But you know what, there's very little post that comes in for anybody these days, but like for the revenue and all these kind of things, and people prefer to come to an established commercial studio.
Yes,
that's what we do.
Absolutely.
And that's going well now. So, you know, because people don't want their home, because then if they ping, then the address is coming to your home. Do you know what I mean? If you don't have an address, and you can't have a PO box anymore.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, there's other people that do virtual assistants and virtual secretaries and all that. We don't do that now. We just do the business address service.
So you had been doing that before, had you?
No, but there's other people in Dublin. There's quite a few other people like us that do loads of different things, you know. So
absolutely. So you can be contacted through, I mean, I've got just up here your handles there, your Facebook handle, M_Malahide.
Yeah.
Twitter, M_Malahide, and Instagram, M_Malahide. You've been very fortunate to get the same.
Yes, we got them all. Yeah, I know.
I know. So many times they change for people, but that's
they've got a dash, and they've got everything. I mean, we were so lucky, and even the day that we got the mspace.ie, I mean, we were jumping around. We were like, oh my God, this is brilliant. You know, that we didn't have to put .com or nothing. Yeah,
it makes an enormous you can also email Caroline at hello@mspace.ie. So that is her email there for you too. So it's a fantastic, so you're looking at 18 years of experience. Tell me a little bit about the experience of working together as a family, because not everybody else can do that. Lots of people
myself and Barbara are very different, and our dad's just very calm. So now we always said we'd never be able to work with our mom, you know, because our mom is just much more controlling or whatever, and just we might clash with her. But myself and Barbara are totally different. So I'm very logical and very admin orientated. I run all the back end of the business, you know, the accounts, the any computer things. Barbara's like, oh, what do I do? And Barbara is more gets out there and gets sales and generates contacts, and you know, she could, I don't know, sell snow to the Eskimos, you know, that kind of way. But on this particular business now, we have had to do a lot of different things. Like I'd never do anything to do with marketing or put myself out there, even to do something like this. Like a couple of years ago, there'd be no way. So I've really pushed myself that way, and I've grown a lot in that respect, you know. And, you know, we have had our few tiffs, and you just kind of have to just walk away and just go and cool down a bit. Yeah. And it's funny, in the last 2 weeks, we have met two brothers that are working together, and last week we met two sisters that are working together. And we've never met anybody else that worked, in the last 10 years anyway, that were working with their family. And we were like, this is just mad. And they were all like, it's so nice to talk to somebody else who's also their sister or also their brother. So you just have to be careful that you kind of end it and it doesn't go into the family. And, when we were working with my dad and everything, we were conscious of that. And, there were times where there's obviously a few arguments and you just have to get up and go.
Absolutely. Yeah. So was it always property?
Always property, yeah.
And what do you feel that what key skills do you feel came through from that particular industry that you still have now and that you've built on?
Well, I suppose the relationship part of the running a commercial property business. So the tenants' needs change. So like some tenants didn't change at all, but the tenants that are in there 35 years. And then you've other tenants that started saying 1,000 square foot unit. And each year they needed to pay it back because it was getting too expensive. Because what we kept saying to everybody is that when you rent a unit, it's not just the rent. Like there's the rates, there's utilities, there's the insurance, there's all this type of thing. But the last person to be paid is always the landlord. And they always come begging to the landlord, oh, I can't afford this, can't afford that. Like you don't not pay the revenue, you don't not pay the rates. So, we always had a great relationship with all our tenants. So we knew how to deal with people. So that's why us being so flexible, like we probably shouldn't be overly too flexible in this space either, because we want to get business in the door or whatever, but we work with whatever anybody needs for their company, because not everything fits the one person, so
no.
And that's the biggest thing. And also the expense of taking a unit. Well, as you come in here, you pay one fee for a month, say 400 quid or whatever, and that's it. You don't have to look at anything else. You don't have any rates or electricity or cleaning or it's a lot, it's all the hassle's taken away from you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's huge peace of mind for a lot of people, huge peace of mind. And how well located you are, so close to the airport and directly on the run into Dublin. I mean, it couldn't be better, really, could it? And a wonderful location. What piece of advice, I usually ask people, if you were to give someone in a similar business to yourself 3 pieces of advice, particularly after the last 16 months that we've had, what do you think you'd be highlighting to them?
I would definitely be highlighting to them to talk to any contact that will come in the door. Don't let them go. Just see what, they mightn't come to you, but at least find out what they want. And then say, okay, how can we work with you? Don't just be, oh, it's this, it's this, it's this. Say, this is what we can offer, but we can tailor a package to suit you. Just talk to the people, even on phone or by email or whatever. And just get yourself out there. There's an awful lot of co-working spaces out there that they're not showing who's actually running the hub, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So people are getting to know myself and Barbara's space, and then in the background they can see that it's M space. But there's other places that are only just putting out the brand.
Yes.
And so one thing we've learned over the last year, and as I said, we've never done any networking before this, and before COVID started, and people just kept saying to us, people buy from people.
Yes.
And if you get to know somebody else,
yes,
they'll then be able to recommend you, and
building the relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a message I'm hearing being echoed, particularly from the professional female entrepreneurs who are in the Women's Inspire Network, which was Samantha Kelly's brainchild and something that we started 10 years ago. I'm a member, you're a member. What's your experience been of working with Women's Inspire members and being in the network?
Yeah, so we have had a chat, I think the 2 chats now with Samantha directly, and which is just so inspiring. Now, I'm still not up to speed on Twitter, I must admit. It kind of, we're trying to learn how to do it, and she showed us a few tips of how to do it, and the odd time I put up something on Twitter and then she'd be DMing me, are you supposed to do this, supposed to do that? So I'm like, okay, so we're learning on that. But I was on one of her coffee morning virtual coffees a couple of weeks ago, and she didn't warn me about this at all. And she said, I have to go now. We're going to meet Gavin Duffy. I'm having a chat with him at 1 o'clock. And all that morning, I was on Zoom after Zoom after Zoom, and I was trying to catch up, and I hadn't been to one of those virtual coffees, and it was really lovely. And so she said, look, I have to go. But, she specifically beelined to me. She's kind of just, come on at 1 o'clock and listen to him. Because I've heard Gavin before, and he's very charming and he's a very nice man or whatever. So she came on and she spotted that I'd come on. So she beelined for me again on the thing with Gavin Duffy. And she said, so we have Ann Hickey now from M Space in Malahide. It's a co-working hub. And I was like, oh my God. I actually, away.
I was watching that day. I was watching.
Oh my God. And I was like trying to take a photograph. I was trying to put up all the details, and then she said something to me again. And I said to her after, I said, oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you so much. She says, yeah, sometimes I just like to do those little surprises and totally and utterly surprise somebody and not give them any warning that I'm about to do it. But of course, I was like pushing it out there. Thank you, Gavin. Thank you, Samantha.
Yes, I know.
So,
I know. I actually found him the most affable that I've ever seen him.
Yeah.
On that particular.
He was good. Yeah.
He really, really was. And he does seem to extend himself. He's Drogheda man from here, where I am.
Yeah.
Drogheda man, started with boy and radio, built his way up through the various different types of business that he has. But no, I actually really enjoyed that.
Now, he was very grounded in that one. And he definitely, as he said, he'd lost a couple of people to COVID, and
yes.
He was just very nice. And then he even called my name out. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
And what I notice about certain individuals like that is they actually follow through.
Yeah.
I liked something that he put up on LinkedIn. I think a couple of hours later, he immediately came back.
Yeah. So he's watching
things,
it. Yeah.
It's those little touches, that again, as you say, building relationships even from a distance can be very, very workable now. And I get the feeling that this is a wave that's going through business right now. The awareness that we really have to get out there and tell our own story and make the connections ourselves. As you say, the worst idea is to just put the brand out. That isn't enough. It's the people behind the brand. How do you know you can trust them? My mind goes back to when I first returned to Ireland. I am Irish, of course, but I was away for quite some time. I came back in 2005, and following the Celtic Tiger, there was an arrogance. There was a dismissiveness in a lot of businesses that actually was direct to the client. And it was a terrible shame. And when I think back on it now, we can't afford to be that way now at all.
No, not at all.
It was so wrong. And it was indicative of the time, I think, that we were in right then.
Yeah.
And a terrible mistake. We're the total opposite now.
I don't think anyone's ever going to go back to it. I mean, everyone keeps saying, I'm not going to go back to the way that it was pre-COVID and whatever. And there's definitely been some lovely life lessons that everyone's taken from COVID. I mean, it's been horrendous, but it definitely made everyone kind of, stop for a minute and take stock of things. So,
and if you think back to the amount of people you would have been able to accommodate, particularly at your individual desks, by how much has that shrunk now by comparison with the intake you could have had on a good day where the room might have been full?
So a good day to be 19. So that's all we have is only 19. But at the moment we are down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're down
6. Well, that's actually not too bad.
It's okay because we have the office rented, and they're coming in. So that's an office of 4 people, but they're only coming in as 2s. So they are kind of social distancing, and then every second desk we've taken out, even though we've loads of room around us. But until the vaccine really is pretty much fully rolled out, then we'll bring back the desks. Now we have all the screens up and everything, but
and really those are very reassuring. We have them here as well. They're very, very reassuring for people, and it is always worth getting them.
It is, like even in the meeting room we have a big one that you put in the middle of the table, so 2 sits here and you sit away from each other, 2 sits here, another 2 people, like you have it quite divided, but you have this big screen in front of you,
And the other thing that I notice about your particular establishment, which is a great thing, is the amount of windows.
Yes.
you can get air circulating through very easily. So people
because it's funny, at the beginning of COVID, we were approached by quite a few companies about putting in these new units for the air circulating. Now people are actually not doing those now. It's all about opening your windows and get the natural ventilation in, or the air conditioning is dangerous now and all that kind of thing. And the guy would come out and I'd say, there's absolutely no way I'm putting an air circulating thing. All I got to do is, like, you open 2 or 3 windows in that place and you're blown out of it.
Yes.
Like you've got the whole, you're looking at the sea. So we have the sliding doors going out to the balcony ajar all the time, and then we have a good few of some skylights and stuff, and then 1 or 2 other. I mean, there's windows open everywhere, and so definitely. So when they come in, at least they feel, it's fresh, it's ventilated, that kind of thing. So, and that's what it worked in our favor, that we didn't put more desks in, because it would have been a bit squashy then, So
just I noticed on the site too, you have a shop. So do you prefer people to actually pay for their day in advance? Let's say you're a freelancer, for example. Do you prefer them to actually pay in advance before they arrive, or can they do it there? Has that changed?
No. So during COVID, actually, we put a booking system on our website. So we got the trading online voucher. And so before that, bookings would come in and I would take the bookings, through Stripe or whatever like that. And then we got the trading online money, and we put an e-commerce on the site then. So it's connected to the calendars. Then we restricted the amount of people that could book in per day at the moment, obviously because of COVID. So once it came to a certain number, I wasn't going to have double bookings, And so anybody that books in, they book in, and a lot of them book in the night before. And then we come up and we get a message then to say, the booking coming in. And then anyone who's new that's coming in, we meet them and bring them up and get them signed the COVID forms and all that kind of stuff. And
and what would you recommend as the best platform or would you recommend Stripe over PayPal, over other platforms? Which is the most useful to you?
Well, I only use Stripe. Now they do charge a little bit of a fee, but for our members that are there every month, they pay a bank transfer, so they don't pay by Stripe anymore. So it's only the dailies really that I'm getting hit for the fees, and they're quite minimal really for I did speak to somebody else before, and they said, if your numbers are huge, you should go to different, because Stripe is quite expensive. But I found it very easy, very, very easy to set up. I've used PayPal as well. But,
I've had difficulties with that one, but I use Stripe, and I find also the invoicing is very straightforward on it too. It tends to be the one that's more user friendly, I think, for some of us who are solo entrepreneurs. We tend to gravitate towards that one. Certainly I do.
No, I have no problems with it.
When it comes to marketing, now you're of course in a place that already has a reputation, and if people go through and they see what you're about, then they'll know about you, and word of mouth is great. But if you are marketing yourself on social media, what do you gravitate towards? Would it be Instagram more than Facebook? Or
so we have a presence on them all, but the biggest one for us is LinkedIn. 100%. And Barbara does an awful lot of that, and I do a little bit of it. Don't want to be saturating people's feeds either, but I'm putting out stuff about the working world and the remote working, and getting back to the office, that kind of stuff, and then giving our opinion on it, that type of thing, not pushing sales type of stuff. And then the second thing is Google My Business. So Google My Business is phenomenal. People don't use it enough.
No,
everything we put up there. And all of our inquiries come through Google, 100%. But it is coming up on the ranking of Google.
That is very important to know.
Unbelievable. So again, a friend of mine was helping us at marketing at the beginning of this. She's actually in Perth, she's actually from Malahide. So she was like loving that we were in the space that we were in. And she said to us at the very beginning, we hadn't even got a website at this stage. And she said to me, just get on and set yourself up on Google. We had a Gmail anyway, so I said, go in and do your Google My Business. So we did a Google My Business, and she said to me, you watch things grow. And it's unbelievable how powerful it is. And it's free.
Oh my gosh, that's a really important piece of advice for people.
I tell everybody, I should be promoting myself for Google My Business consultant.
And the biggest thing about Google My Business, for Google My Business.
And the more you put up there, the more Google likes you. you know,
Gosh,
so then they're catching you. So
listen to that, folks.
any updates,
Yeah.
like if you're reopening somewhere, if your times are changing, even if you do one change on that little part of Google Business on the side of the Google page, you could do one change a week, you come up in the ratings or the rankings.
Oh my gosh, and nobody's talking about that.
Yes,
No one is talking about that. Isn't that extraordinary?
yeah, I love it.
I'm
It's
have a look at that immediately.
You should, and it's such an easy tool to use. You can have an app
Yes.
on your phone. So say you put up, say, an advertisement, so say this is coming up today, and you wanted to put up that there was a certain time. If you put it up, say you put it up on Instagram and Facebook and whatever, if you also put it up, just even the picture up on Google, it comes up on a Google thread then.
Gosh. Okay,
Phenomenal.
let's all have a look at that, folks.
Yes,
really important. Really, really important. What?
So they're the two biggest things. We are on Instagram, we are on Facebook.
Yes.
Instagram it's nice, but it's not really. It's more, you know, we do nice visual things up there about the space and the view and that kind of stuff. But definitely the business is coming.
It takes a while to figure out what is right for you, doesn't it? It can take even a few years when it comes to pushing social media. I came on and off LinkedIn Premium on a couple of occasions. I wasn't so sure if it was necessary. Maybe I should be just learning Twitter more. But now I've gone LinkedIn Premium all the time. I realize now that that's the one that I should be focusing my attention on.
Yeah, I haven't done the premium. I see the little things coming up saying, do you want to join? Is it much better?
Well, it is from the point of view of, like, for example, I needed to get hold of, I'm planning a show on the aftermath of the vaccine. So if I want to get hold of virologists, if I want to get hold of immunologists, messaging them directly, it depends on, like for example, for what I'm doing now, even though I'm a singer, in the last 16 months, I switched over to the interview training that I had and made a bigger thing of that. I then needed to be able to contact people directly. And without premium, I couldn't do it. And it has definitely paid off. Okay. You know, so from a media perspective, I think it definitely works. I think from a corporate training perspective, because I would have been in there too for many, many years, well, and language training in particular. Yes, definitely. But if you're, I don't know that it would work for every kind of business. If you're in retail, you know, no, it's not. Then you want Instagram, then you want Twitter. But certainly for where I am right now, I've realized I've had to reduce the rest, definitely reduce the Instagram. Yeah, and focus on LinkedIn. So I mean, social media, it will
tough going, isn't it? It's like a full-time job.
Yeah. And there are lots of individuals, I suppose, who feel they need to push you to use one or other thing, but you really have to just bide your time and see what is right for your business, and not just have the knee-jerk reaction and just jump on with everything that people seem to be chatting about. Yeah, find the one that's right for you. And I've now finally realized 3 years on that really I do have to go LinkedIn Premium, that works for me. It is a very
good platform. And then anytime I do use Twitter, and I don't really know how to use it properly, I need to give it a bit more time. It definitely does have a very quick take up, and people tweeting, and it's very quick.
Right. Yes, I agree with you. Whereas on Facebook, I like the user friendliness of Facebook. But you don't always get people sharing and connecting with you as instantly as they do if you invest a bit of time and effort on Twitter.
Twitter must bing on your phone or something, because people are so quick. Yeah. Much quicker.
Much quicker. So over now, we've got the summer to just play out now, and then come September, I suppose we'll all be in a different place, hopefully a happier place. Yeah. What is your priority over the summer, and where do you hope to be by September?
Over the summer, obviously the summer does get quite quiet usually anyway, especially because we have a lot of working mums that come into us and that type of thing. So we would hope that we might get, as I said, we're going to start promoting this now next week, about maybe people sharing desks, that kind of thing. So or share it for the week, or do that type of thing to try and keep mums, because everyone still does have to work for a certain amount during the summer, but their kids are at home all day or whatever. So I'd like to keep that going, and then by September try and get as many dedicated people as we can, because then they're coming and going as, you know, they've got full access to the place. And, you know, because the daily renting of a desk is a hard slog, you know, so like it's great and everything, but we'd love to have a few more people, like one of our ladies that comes in, as I said, with 2 of our staff for her team day once a week, every week, and they take 3 desks. And it'd be great if we get more of that, because there's a real buzz about the place that day. They come in, they work good days at home, they come in on a Wednesday, and they come in every single week, and they book the meeting room for a couple of hours, and it's really, really good for them. And then the other 2 days they work at home.
Yeah.
So we're going to be promoting that type of thing.
Yes,
more than,
absolutely.
you know, do you want a desk for yourself, or do you want it for your husband or your partner or whatever? So,
and you know, I would encourage not just women, but I would encourage men and women to do this, because we've now got to start going back doing normal socialization, moving from A to B, get used to going into buildings, get used to having meetings again.
Yeah.
Places.
Yeah.
And even if you're not working if you're a solo entrepreneur or freelancer, and you need to do this, you need to just do it for your mental health, if nothing else. You've got to build that pattern up in your life.
Yes.
So it's a really, really good option, you know, to have in such a relaxed environment, to start easing yourself back into normal working life.
Yeah.
So important. So important to do that. So look, I am delighted to have had you on. Carol Ann Hickey of M Space Malahide was with us today. Delighted that you joined us. You gave us some great tips there. Have a look. If you're in Malahide, go down. You'll see Marine Court there. It looks gorgeous. And it's usually Malahide is an absolute haven. It's hopping with people in the summer. I'm pretty sure it'll be the same again. Go down to the Martello Tower, have a look at Malahide Castle. Go into the hotels, move about, think about it as a work venue too. You're in the area.
You should come and see us one day. We'd love to see you.
Yes, that would be a fantastic thing to do. Love it. Okay, Carol Ann, thank you so much for joining us today. Give our best to your sister as well.
Thank you very much.
Your partner. Everybody, great advice there. We'll see you again on Monday. This episode has been powered by the Women's Inspire Network, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye for now.